Hello little cubs, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to Storytime with Mama Bear and more Aesop's Fables. Tonight with me, I have the creepy and kooky spooky whispering. This lovely lady not only does wonderful ASMR trigger videos, but her more creepy content is, well, it's rather addictive, so I recommend you check out her creepy content. I will link her channel below so you can check out her wonderful videos. If you enjoy this collaboration, please be sure to give it a like and share with your family and your friends. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more story time with Mama Bear. I hope you all enjoy, and as always, sweet dreams.
The Boys and the Frogs. Some boys were playing one day at the edge of a pond in which lived a family of frogs. The boys amused themselves by throwing stones into the pond so as to make them skip on top of the water. The stones were flying thick and fast, and the boys were enjoying themselves very much. But the poor frogs in the pond were trembling with fear. At last, one of the frogs, the oldest and bravest, put his head out of the water and said, "Oh, please, dear children, stop your cruel play. Though it may be fun for you, it means death to us. Always stop to think whether your fun may not be the cause of another's unhappiness."
Belling the cat. The mice once called a meeting to decide on a plan to free themselves of their enemy, the cat. At least they wished to find some way of knowing when she was coming, so they might have time to run away. Indeed, something had to be done, for they lived in such constant fear of her claws that they hardly dared stir from the dens by night or day. Many plans were discussed, but none of them was thought good enough. At last a very young mouse got up and said, "I have a plan that seems very simple, but I know it will be successful. All we have to do is hang a bell about the cat's neck. When we hear the bell ringing, we will know immediately that our enemy is coming." All the mice were much surprised that they had not thought of such a plan before. But in the midst of rejoicing over their good fortune, an old mouse arose and said, "I will say that the plan of the young mouse is very good, but let me ask one question. Who will bell the cat?" Moral: it is one thing to say that something should be done, but quite a different matter to do it.
The Rat and the Elephant. A rat was travelling along the king's highway. He was a very proud rat, considering his small size and the bad reputation all rats have. As Mr. Rat walked along, he kept mostly to the ditch. He noticed a great commotion up the road, and soon a grand procession came in view. It was the king and his retinue. The king rode on a huge elephant adorned with the most gorgeous trappings. With the king in his luxurious howdah were the royal dog and cat. A great crowd of people followed the procession. They were so taken up with admiration of the elephant that the rat was not noticed. His pride was hurt. "What fools!" he cried. "Look at me, and you will soon forget that clumsy elephant. Is it his size that makes your eyes pop out, or his great wrinkled hide? Why, I have eyes and ears and as many legs as he. I am of just as much importance and—" But just then, the royal cat spied him, and the next instant, the rat knew he was not quite so important as an elephant. A resemblance to the great in some things does not make us great.
The Ass, the Fox, and the Lion. An ass and a fox had become close comrades, and were constantly in each other's company. While the ass cropped the fresh bits of green, the fox would devour a chicken from the neighbouring farmyard or a bit of cheese filched from the dairy. One day the pair unexpectedly met a lion. The ass was very much frightened, but the fox calmed his fears. "I will talk to him," he said. So the fox walked boldly up to the lion. "Your Highness," he said in an undertone, so the ass could not hear him, "I've got a fine scheme in my head. If you promise not to hurt me, I will lead that foolish creature yonder into a pit where he cannot get out, and you can feast at your pleasure." The lion agreed, and the fox returned to the ass. "I made him promise he would not hurt us," said the fox, "but come, I know a good place to hide till he is gone." So the fox led the ass into a deep pit. But when the lion saw that the ass was his for the taking, he first of all struck down the traitor fox. Moral: traitors may expect treachery.
The Travellers and the Purse. 2 men were travelling in company along the road when one of them picked up a well-filled purse. "How lucky I am," he said. "I have found a purse. Judging by its weight, it must be full of gold." "Do not say I have found a purse," said his companion. "Say rather, we have found a purse, and how lucky we are. Travellers ought to share alike the fortunes or misfortunes of the road." "No, no," replied the other angrily. "I found it, and I am going to keep it." Just then they heard a shout of "Stop, thief!" and looking around, saw a mob of people armed with clubs coming down the road. The man who had found the purse fell into a panic. "We are lost if they find the purse on us," he cried. "No, no," replied the other. "You would not say we before, so now stick to your I. Say I am lost." We cannot expect anyone to share our misfortunes unless we are willing to share our good fortune also.
The Cock and the Fox. One bright evening, as the sun was sinking on a glorious world, a wise old cock flew into a tree to roost. Before he composed himself to rest, he flapped his wings 3 times and crowed loudly. But just as he was about to put his head under his wing, his beady eyes caught a flash of red and a glimpse of a long, pointed nose. And there, just below him, stood Master Fox. "Have you heard the wonderful news?" cried the fox in a very joyful and excited manner. "What news?" asked the cock very calmly. But he had a queer, fluttery feeling inside of him, for, you know, he was very much afraid of the fox. "Your family and mine and all other animals have agreed to forget their differences and live in peace and friendship from now on forever. Just think of it. I simply cannot wait to embrace you. Do come down, dear friend, and let us celebrate the joyful event." "How grand," said the cock. "I certainly am delighted at the news." But he spoke in an absent way, and stretching up on his tippy toes, seemed to be looking at something afar off. "What is it you see?" asked the fox a little anxiously. "Why, it looks to me like a couple of dogs are coming, and this way. They must have heard the good news." But the fox did not wait to hear more. Off he started on a run. "Wait!" cried the cock. "Why do you run? The dogs are friends of yours now." "Yes," answered the fox, "but they might not have heard the news. Besides, I have a very important errand that I almost forgot about." The cock simply smiled as he buried his head in his feathers and went to sleep, for he succeeded in outwitting a very crafty enemy. Moral: the trickster is easily tricked.